And ladies and gentlemen, today we will be talking about Formula One on the podcast. Steven Snodgrass will join us later. He is our Formula One analyst, McLaren superfan. He has some takes on the Azerbaijan Grand Prix, which ended in yet another Formula One win for Red Bull. What a race it was. Max Verstappen takes the checkered flag. So does Sergio Perez right behind him. Red Bull finishes 1 and 2. Mercedes finishes 3 and 4. Pierre Gasly getting 5 for AlphaTauri. 6 goes to Sebastian Vettel, though. Vettel racing now for Aston Martin. Alpine getting at 7 spot with Fernando Alonso, but 8 and 9 goes to McLaren. And Ocon for Alpine taking number 10. As far as it goes, the Monaco Grand Prix was a Sergio Perez win, and we have seen wins for Red Bull all the way back to the Australian Grand Prix. The last time someone not named Red Bull won was Ferrari and Charles Leclerc, who won on April 9th. So it is June 13th, mind you. It has been over 2 months since we've seen a non-Red Bull win. They took over in the Emilia-Romagna Grand Prix with Max Verstappen winning, and Verstappen just took it all the way home. What a race in the Azerbaijan Grand Prix. You got Canada coming up, but without further ado, I will turn it over. Steven Snodgrass joining the podcast.
A challenge as the season goes on, and Russell has looked really strong. So I think that would probably be the best challenge at this point, unless Ferrari can somehow miraculously figure out what's going on with their power units and transmissions.
So far, what is your best performing team and worst performing team, in your opinion?
I mean, clearly Red Bull is at the top of the heap right now, and looks like they have the best car, unless Ferrari can figure out their engine woes, or Mercedes their porpoising. As far as worse, I would say like McLaren's kind of been the most disappointing for me. I would say McLaren's kind of the worst performer so far, but I'm hoping they can turn that around and fight off Alpine for the 4th spot, because Alpine's not that far behind.
A couple months ago, or about a month ago, we had the Miami race. What were your thoughts on that race?
I thought it was really fun. It's very exciting for me to see F1 now have 3 races on the calendar next year, but Miami was definitely, I think, a big help in getting Vegas and the excitement around Miami. I know a lot of people who have been tuned into F1 for the last few years have seen a lot more US celebrities, but I think it took it to another level with Miami this year, and I think Vegas is going to be even more crazy next year. A lot of people are already starting to talk to me about if I'm going to the race and what I think it's going to be like, and I think it's going to be like Miami, but only even crazier.
Leclerc and Ferrari have won twice this year. You've already voiced their problems with their engines, but what further thoughts do you have on Ferrari?
I am not a very big Binotto fan, and I think that my reasons for disliking him, other than his Harry Potter glasses, are a lot of the errors that they make in terms of strategy. I grew up a big Ferrari fan, so kind of disappointed. I do really like both drivers. Carlos, I was a big fan of him at McLaren. And I think, if they can kind of figure out what's going on with the engine, and Carlos can get over his bad luck, that Ferrari can finish the season strong, although it's looking tougher and tougher for Charles to get up there and fight with Max if he keeps having DNFs.
How have you liked Drive to Survive?
That's been a fantastic show, and one that I recommend to all of my friends who are interested in getting into F1. I really picked it up in the 2nd season, which was when I was getting back into F1 and I'd gotten my McLaren, and I just think it's fantastic for the sport. I do think they sensationalize things, and that bugs the drivers, which hurts participation some with Max and and Lewis, but I still think it's great for the sport, and I really enjoy it.
As far as it goes, with the Azerbaijan Grand Prix yesterday, McLaren finished 8 and 9, but AlphaTauri, they had a great finish yesterday with Pierre Gasly finishing in 5th. They've also had some great finishes from Tsunoda, who finished 13th yesterday. Do you think AlphaTauri could have a chance at coming back into play as a big competitor?
I think, kind of as a B team to Red Bull, they have been strong, and the Honda power unit has actually been doing pretty well. I think they could do well, but I'm also hopeful that McLaren's going to have upgrades that will be able to fend off some challengers. I think that's one of the reasons I was disappointed with the race results yesterday. Was McLaren finishing in the points was good to a lot of people, but with both Ferraris being out, I was hoping that they'd be a lot closer.
Haas and Williams have had some troubles getting points in Formula One over the past few years. Williams was the dominant team throughout the 80s and 90s, while Haas has become the first American team to compete in Formula One since 1980. How can these teams get points up?
I think it's difficult to say at this point. I really respect Williams and what Frank Williams was able to do with that team as a driver and then owner and engineer for the team. And Haas, I actually have kind of enjoyed that storyline with the early season success that they had, and also taking money from all the Urukai Russian oligarchy family with the maize pins there.
Yeah.
But I want everyone to do well, and actually kind of tangential to this, I would love to see the Andrettis get into F1 and to see more American drivers in the sport again.
I agree. What do you think will happen over the rest of the season?
I mean, Red Bull looks really strong. I think it's going to be tough for teams to catch them because I would assume that they're going to have upgrade packages after the summer break and continue to fend off the challengers. And Adrian Newey is just a really fantastic car designer. But I'm hopeful that, teams will be able to make it interesting in the midfield. And, I don't know that McLaren can really challenge, and I keep bringing it back to them, can really challenge for the third spot, but I hope that it can defend their current 4th position.
What race are you most excited for over the rest of the season?
Probably Texas, just because COTA is a circuit that I've had lots of friends who have driven on, and I hope to drive on myself one day.
Okay. Thank you, Snod.
Absolutely, Hugo.
Thank you.
Sure.
All right, Steven Snodgrass, our Formula One analyst and super fan for McLaren. Thank you, Snod.
Thank you very much. Yeah, have a good one.
Day.
You too.
You too. Goodbye. All right, ladies and gentlemen, post-interview, Steven Snodgrass, our F1 analyst and McLaren superfan, joined the podcast, giving his hot takes on Formula One. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us. I'm Hugo Traverso for Hugo Sports 360. Follow Steven Snodgrass on all of his socials. I will have them in the description of the podcast.